You are on the other side of burnout, but your libido has not come back. Your libido has not returned. It is not what you'd call full throttle. And I know why. I know why. And there are so many layers to this. So we are going to go there. I'm going to give you on a platter everything that you need to know about getting your libido back, reigniting your sex drive on the other side of burnout. This is for you if you feel like you've done everything right, everything that they say you should do in order to get your sanity back, in order to get some semblance of energy back. But the sex part still hasn't caught up. And you're wondering why. I know why. Let's go there. First thing, a little disclaimer. I am going to use the word sex drive in this episode, even though technically humans don't have a sex drive. Because if we did have a sex drive, it would mean that we would literally perish. Our life would cease to exist if we didn't have sex. It's not like a drive for air, food, water, shelter, things that we will literally die without receiving or ingesting. But in the name of sexiness over science, just for today, I'm going to use the word sex drive because I really love the word drive. I love it. I am a Mars-ruled chart. I am ruled by Sagittarius. I have a big sex drive. I have a big drive for action, for speaking, for igniting, for doing. I am all fire. And the word drive secretly does it for me. So I'm going to be saying sex drive today, even though it's not technically correct, kind of putting my sexology degree to the side in order for you to feel your own drive return. So that's something that has not happened on the other side of burnout. Yeah, you've had energy. Yes, you've been able to technically do things again. You're running your business. You're doing the things. But drive, like actual drive and passion, where the fuck is that? Where is that? The second little disclaimer I'm going to do about language is I despise the word burnout. I really don't gel with it. I think it needs a rewrite. I think it should be reconceptualized as something different. Because when I hear burnout with my Willy Wonka mind, I just hear lack of passion, doing what you think you should, living out of alignment. I hear overextending yourself, but hear me when I say this. Yes, there's overextension, but there's also a sense of underwhelm with your life. You're not feeling it. And when smart, intelligent women are underwhelmed, they overcompensate somewhere else because they're not getting the stimulation that they crave. You did not get the adequate stimulation you craved. You got a lot of stimulation, but it was the undesirable kind. That's what I hear when I hear burnout. I don't hear doing all the things. Yep, you've been doing that, making money, all the things that you had to do in your business. I hear an intelligent woman that allowed herself to be overstimulated in the ways that were socially acceptable and understimulated in the ways that were socially unacceptable. So do with that what you will, but that is the stance I'm going to take on burnout. And the reason why I personally avoid burnout, even though I have the constitution and all that fire and all that drive, the reason why I avoid burnout is because I allow myself and I give myself ample permission to be stimulated in the ways that I desire to be stimulated. So in that hot take, it doesn't matter how much stimulation I get as long as it's the right stimulation. And I know that if I start feeling a little bit crispy around the edges, it means that I've gone into a sense of pushing or shoulds or overextension because I've been denying that beautiful sexual stimulation or that physical stimulation or that intuitive stimulation or that intellectual stimulation, every single category. When you play with that, you take the fucking power back and you'll never get burnt out again because you will be able to examine your life and say, oh, I was just allowing myself, keyword, to be overstimulated in these ways because I was denying myself to be stimulated in these ways. You are always looking for homeostasis and balance. You are. So when things are out of whack, you've just gone into overcompensation and you've allowed that in order to fulfill some sort of purpose or intention you're holding, or to stroke maybe one of your shadows that hasn't quite received the memo. It's no longer welcome and you want to move on to a state of desire. Now that we've done a little bit of word nerdery with the term sex drive and the term burnout, we want to go straight into what the fuck happened. I can tell you right now exactly what happened with you. I can tell you exactly what happened to you, almost like I'm reading a book of your experience. It's the classic trajectory and the well-worn prescription for women who have gone through burnout. And all of the narrative is around down-regulating. All of the narrative is around going into your feminine. All of the narrative is around resting, doing yin yoga, moving slow, because if you've been moving that fast, the antidote is to move slower, right? Fucking wrong. The answer is not in moving slower, it's in moving different and creating contrast between moving fast and moving slow. You went into the shadows of speed in order to fulfill that sense of overcompensation. If I move faster, if I do more, then I'll get the feeling. I am never going to tell you to slow down. I am never going to tell you that you shouldn't be exactly who you fucking are. I am never going to snuff your flame. But the narrative out there is shut that shit down. Get the fire, get what's left of it, the smoldering remnants, and douse more water on it. Snuff that out because you need to go to the element of earth and you need to ground and you need to go slow and you need to appreciate nature. And you need to be so fucking in your feminine that you lean back and that you trust and that you surrender, and your head the whole fucking time is going, what the fuck? Your head is going, but that doesn't feel right, but that doesn't feel natural for me. And you think, I can just brainwash myself into this if I repeat it enough, if I do it enough. Maybe yes, maybe no. All of those qualities I've just mentioned are exquisite, absolutely exquisite. When they can interplay with their opposite. You cannot go from all up in execution, what people call the masculine. You cannot go from that state to just denial of your drive, of your fire, of what gets you up and moving and going, and just slipping into a totally different gear. Your burnout recovery did some things for you, but it didn't cover everything. In your burnout recovery, you killed your darlings. You killed the origin and you snuffed out what was working for you in your business, in your life. But it got demonized. You had your fire and your desire told that it was wrong. You internalize the idea that your masculinity is wrong and that you should feel a sense of shame for what brought the burnout on, which is multifaceted. And there are other people that are complicit in your burnout because there were other people that were benefiting from your martyr mode, from your people pleasing, from your over delivery, from your over giving. There's more than one dynamic, and it doesn't just come from you. When you shamed your masculinity and you decided to really go all in on your feminine, what happened was you lost contact with the part that turns you the fuck on. You went into suppression so that you could experience this different version of expression, so that you could heal from what made you feel crispy and from what had you feeling burnt. And if you're feeling burnt, you're going to pull your hand all the way back from the hot plate. But there's another way of doing it. And if you're noticing right now that you're still trying to box yourself in to this slow way of being, and you're putting on a mask and pretending that you fucking love it and it's made for you and it's exactly what you need, and you're out there preaching about going slower, telling women the antidote, telling them all about the things that you're doing, I don't believe you. If you are at the level that you're at, the level of success you're at, you have fucking fire. And it's sad that that fire was used as a weapon against you to subdue you. And that's what's happened. Healing has turned into you being subdued, your natural spirit being suppressed. And it's going to take a different kind of recovery from that. It's going to require you to stoke your own flames, to really bring that passion back. And taking this into the bedroom, how on earth can you feel excited for sex? How can you feel in positive anticipation of what's coming if you've conditioned your nervous system to drop all the way down into a dorsal vagal state? How can you feel really excited when you're only allowing yourself to live within a certain bandwidth? It is time to rewrite your relationship with your energy. And this is about reconciliation of both, always both. There is no balance without both. There is no contrast without both. There is no turn on without both. You need your fire for sex. You need your fire for self-pleasure. You need your fire for idea generation and execution. So let's bring it back. Let's reignite it. First thing, stop putting everything into masculine, feminine compartments. Stop splitting everything and labeling it as either masculine or feminine. I don't do this. I hardly ever reference those concepts because what I do is I just call the energy what it is. And in that moment, any energy could be masculine or feminine, depending on your relationship to it, depending on the context. There's so much nuance here. This is being a big part of my liberation is I'm not going, am I in my masculine or my feminine? If I'm asking that question, I'm in my fucking head. That's the only place I am. I'm not in the power and potency of my body. I'm not in my sexual essence and drive. I am right up in here analyzing and asking myself if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Fuck that. You are not right or wrong. You are not masculine or feminine. Ditch the binaries and just say exactly how you feel and tell yourself exactly what you're doing in this moment and give yourself permission to go and permission to pull back. Give yourself permission to do it all and self-monitor as you go. How did that make me feel? Did that satisfy me? Did that bring me the success I'm looking for? Am I pushing? Am I allowing? Am I giving? Am I receiving? What do I want in this moment? They're the questions I'm asking myself. I'm not sitting there wasting my precious libidinous energy trying to put everything under a list of either masculine or feminine, because I am both and you are too. And the way that every quality and sensation inside of you is expressed is going to change minute to minute. And that's something so many people can't get their heads around, but you get this. So ditch the binaries, ditch the polarities even, and realize that whether you're talking about your masculine or your feminine, you are referencing both the light and the shadow. They both have light and shadow. There's actually 4 quadrants of masculine and feminine if you want to go there. The light of the masculine, the light of the feminine, the shadow of the feminine, the shadow of the masculine. Why is it not just all human? And why are we not just cross-referencing how we feel and what we want to achieve in any given moment? And when was achievement and success for women demonized? It always has been. And it makes us think that we're too much. But it's not too much for as long as you are allowing that contrast in. As long as the drive and the passion and the fire get to rest, get to step back, get to retreat, get to recalibrate so that you can surge again. So don't let anyone tell you what your fire is or isn't, how it should or shouldn't be expressed. Only you get to determine that. And only you can judge in the moment whether there's a cost to it, whether it's costing you something else. And if that is really undesirable for you, you get to course correct that. Can you trust yourself enough to do that? Can you stop outsourcing your power and saying, it should be resting more, it should be napping more, it should be grounding, it should be doing yoga lattes, it should be. Can you fuck all of that shit off and start trusting yourself enough to go, I know when to go and I know when to slow. I trust myself implicitly that I can go for 5 minutes and I can slow for 1. Or I can go for 5 fucking hours and I can slow for 1 minute and then go for another fucking 5. Can you trust yourself enough? And can you cross-reference how your energy works, how your fire works with your own cycles, with the seasons, with the dynamics of your family and your relationship, with what's going on in your work and your team? Can you trust yourself enough that you can thin slice and look at all of that in a nanosecond? Yes, you can trust yourself enough because you've gotten this far. And that drive and that masculinity, that's what gave you your success. All that happened was you lost sight of how it could be the most powerful expression of success and ambition. That's all that happened. Don't make it mean any more than that. Simplify it, move on. You have done your time in slow recovery and now you're out of alignment. Now you're wearing a mask because you are a fiery, passionate woman. You are red-blooded and blood needs to pump and it needs to flow and it needs to flow all the way down into your genitals, all the way down into your pussy so that you can experience transcendental states of pleasure. Climax, release. What is so wrong about that? You need fire to make that happen. And right now, You're doing what one of my clients said, which is treading water. You've been so bogged down by earth energy, so drowned by water and the watery energy that you need to be in feminine flow, that you've lost your fire. Bring it back. Bring it back for you. Bring it back into your body in the way that you move, in the way that you express yourself. And you'll be primed to bring it back into sex and the bedroom. You need to mix it up in the way that you move because you've gotten bored of the slow stuff now. Admit it. It's time to bring something that creates some vigor for you. Looking at your life and the way that you do business and the way that you move, start seeing it as earth and water. Where are you feeling so slow that you feel bogged down? Maybe not stuck, it's too strong a word, but where do you feel stagnant? Where are you at a stalemate? In yourself, in your body, in your relationship? What feels like it's not moving? Where in your life feels watery? Like you are treading water, or there's a part of you that's drowning. There's a part of you where your head is literally underwater. The antidote to both of these is fire. And once you get the fire back, we'll talk about the air and the role of the air. But for now, you need to extract yourself from all of that earth, all of that slow, all of that it takes time, and all of the water saying you need to just have everything flow. You need fire as your primary antidote. So what feels fiery to you? What feels exhilarating? What feels risky? What feels naughty? You have been so good that your good girl crept back into your recovery. But your good girl can't run your bedroom. I wrote a whole book about this. It's called Permission. You can buy it from me, an autographed copy. The link will be in the show notes. But you know, your good girl can't lead your bedroom and she can't lead your business. It is not on her. So what feels naughty? What feels risky? What feels wrong? What feels like the thing that you shouldn't do, but you have the nudge to do it? How can you move in a way that feels fiery? How can you eat fiery foods? How can you have contact with more fire in and out of your home, in and out of your bedroom? What feels spicy? Are you reading smutty books? Because everything that you do outside of sex is going to fuel and inform what happens in sex. And all the water and all the earth can't give you a hot bedroom, especially not a white hot bedroom. Your old burnout prescription is done. You can rip it up and toss it out. It did what it needed to do. Now you are going to be ultra powerful because you'll be reclaiming your sexual prowess and potency. This is not for the faint at heart. But if you're listening to this and you've gotten this far, I would say this has been handcrafted for you. What I'm about to mention is an overhaul of your bedroom, an overhaul of your sexuality. This is the prescription I would give you if you were my client and you enlisted into my 3-month mentoring container, Erotic Authority. What we do is we reignite your flame, your fire, your drive for you first, then for your bedroom, so that you become a walking turn-on into your business, your leadership, and every single room you walk into. At the end of our time together, you, your bedroom, and your business will be unrecognizable. You would have brought the power back. You will be the sexually potent woman you know that you are, and everyone who has contact with you is going to feel that without you saying a word about what you've done differently. This is the new edge in leadership that very few are available for. The edge that generates a currency that is so much vaster than money in the bank. And now you're fully available to feel and experience all of it. All you need to do to be the woman who embodies her erotic authority is book an exploration call. In our time together, we'll look at exactly where you are with a brief reference to where you've been, and I'll tell you exactly what happens next when you say yes to yourself. Go to the link in my show notes to book your exploration call, and we'll speak within the next week.